Good afternoon, or good morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Julio Briones. This is your Q&A live with the home care expert. Thank you all for being here. I'm actually about a minute or two early, so let's see what ends up happening if some people start showing up. In the meantime, before we get started, a couple of quick announcements. We are doing our pre-launch for our Pricing for Profits course. It goes live on. It actually goes live on Monday, February 1st, and the pre-launch is $97. And the information for that is down below. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your support. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the video if you enjoy the information. Also, don't forget that to subscribe and hit the notification bell to know what's going on and how, whenever we do put up new content. There are going to be a few changes coming to this channel in the very, very near future. And I'm just experimenting with the type of content that we are putting out just to provide more value and to give you guys more reason to keep coming back. Okay. So let's get started. All right. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate you're here. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the chat box over here on the left, I believe, and we'll go ahead and get them going for you, and we'll start answering them as we go along. So the purpose of this live every Wednesday at 2 is to answer your questions about private duty home care. We are here to help, and we're trying to help you see your business grow by adding new services or by improving what's already existing. So today's question actually comes from Miss Latoya Chambers. She is out of Cleveland, Ohio, and she asks, how does private pay work? Is it hard getting payment from people? Do you need to be or have a CEO or a degree to have a private pay home care agency in the state of Ohio? And how does one get started? Well, okay, so that's actually quite a number of questions here. All right, and I'm going to do my best to answer them in order. All right, so let me get a look here. I apologize. I should have had my pen ready, but here it is. All right, so question 1, how does private pay work? Well, it's home care services. So as long as you're familiar with what home care services are, so let's, sorry, I'm just writing down some times here. As long as you're familiar with what home care services are, then that part of the business is not going to be difficult to explain. The difference between private pay versus, let's say, a Medicaid or Medicare agency is got to do with the payer source. All right. So your payer source is typically your client or a long-term care provider or certain insurance companies, but that's a lot more complicated than the simple question that's being asked. Now, how does it work? It works the same as any other home care agency. You still will provide caregivers. You still will, have to bill somebody. You will have client coordinators. You will still have to grow and market your business. The basic model does not change in its core essence from a Medicaid or Medicare agency versus a private pay agency. The core essence. What does change is your ability to provide longer hours, because generally speaking, When somebody's paying for it privately, they are able to pay for more hours. So it really it becomes a lot more um, modifiable. It becomes a lot more specific to the client. All right. So you also have a little bit more leeway as to the services you can provide. Some agencies, like we will work with agencies to expand their service offerings. Some agencies will provide just strictly hourly service. Some will factor in a concierge service. Some will factor in some other white glove services. Some will also offer, short hours. Some will have longer minimums. Some will make accommodations in order to best suit the client and their community. They will have live-in services. There's a lot of different options as to what can happen. Non-medical transportation. You have companionship, and but the essence is still there. It's the actual service. That is what changes between private pay and the standard services. Okay. So that is the first part of the question. Now, the second part of your question, is it hard getting payment from people? Well, if you have in your intake, when you're doing your intake, you have to make it clear that you are a private pay service. You're not there to, you do not accept insurances. You have to make that clear to them. If you are strictly a private pay agency, then you need to make that clear on your website. If you are a hybrid agency in which you are accepting certain types of insurance and you are taking private paying clients, then again, please make that clear. And you have to make it clear during your intake process. And if you're in the in-home and you're trying to sign up the client, you have to make that clear to them again. Also, when you are creating your service agreements, you should have a form that's called a guarantee of payment. Okay, meaning that if a person is taking a client, taking you on for as a service provider, and they fail to pay, it is a document that you can go to court and get payment. Most of the time, people don't give you a hard time paying. Most people do not take a service that they will not pay for. It's only on occasion that I've seen that you will have people that are not going to take it seriously, because while you're in the in-home process, you have to if you haven't already learned how to do it, you should have a clear understanding of how exactly you are going to provide the service for them, what your billable hours are, what your bill rate is, how many hours you require as a minimum, and any adjustments that are going to be made should you accept clients that go below your minimum hours. All right. And these are things that you want to make sure that, again, you are crystal clear about. So as part of your service agreement and as part of your client sign-up package, you should have a guarantee of payment. Now, on the other end of this, there are agencies that will accept assignment of benefits from long-term care providers. Long-term care insurance is private pay home care's best friend. Okay. There are a lot of agencies that will not take assignment of benefits. I am not the biggest proponent of taking assignment of benefits personally, but there is a way we teach our clients to do it in order to mitigate the potential or the lapse in payment should there be one. That is something you want to make sure that you have all your paperwork in order and that you understand very clearly what the requirements are from the long-term care insurance provider. So that is the answer to your second question. Is it hard to get payment from people? Well, no. Again, there's ways to mitigate that. If you're doing the long-term care, take the long-term care insurance. You can do assignment of benefits. We always recommend trying to get the client to pay you first and then let them deal with their insurance company. But either way works. You can also keep a credit card on file. You can, take prepayment. There's a lot of ways if you're truly concerned. Next part. Do you need to be or have a CEO or a degree to have a private care home? No. Okay, specific. This is a very specific question for the state of Ohio, and actually, this really applies anywhere. The Do you need to have a degree to be a private home care provider, or do you have to have a CEO in place? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm going to be very frank. But I will answer the first part. Do you have to have a degree? The answer is no. I have worked with many people with varying levels of education, and I've had clients that didn't even have a GED that have been very, very successful at this. As long as you have some common sense and you understand that whatever shortcomings you do have, you have to make it up with training, or you have to make it up with hiring the right staff, then you're fine. Okay. Now, do you have to have a CEO? No, you don't have to have a CEO. Do you have to have an LLC? No, you don't really have to, but I would highly recommend some sort of corporate structure. But that's something for you and your attorney to discuss. A manager, if you're lacking a certain skill set, get yourself trained. We are a training and consulting company. I hear it a lot. Oh, I can't afford it. It's too much of an expense. Well, the reality is this: training is an investment. Consulting is an investment. It is not an expense. Just be sure to vet whoever it is that you're hiring to do this work for you. Whoever is doing this work for you or with you to train your people, train your staff, provide any sort of support, make sure that they actually have the knowledge and experience that they claim to have. Because I'll tell you, personally, I've had quite a number of calls as of late, especially since COVID started. A lot of people have been getting ripped off because there's people that lost their jobs, and all of a sudden everybody's a consultant. Most people are very good at what they do. There are a few dishonest people, and just be sure not to get caught up. So that, I hope, answers your question. No on the degree. No, you don't have to have a CEO. You should be some sort of a corporate structure, and you can succeed as long as you're willing to invest in yourself and in your company to propel your business forward. So, as far as the state of Ohio, from my understanding, my company does not do licensing or accreditation. What we do is training, staff training, operational training, and management training, and business development, sales, and marketing training. We do provide support as far as ongoing coaching. All right. We do provide, certain, we do provide certain benefits, as far as, what's included in our coaching packages and anything like that. But the reality is that we won't do licensing. But that being said, as far as specifically the state of Ohio, do you require some sort of licensing? Not for private pay. All right, as long as you're not taking, as long as the state or some sort of government entity is not your payer source, you should be okay, and you should be able to run your business. Just fine. All right. So again, hope that answers your questions. As far as that, let me see what else. Okay, and how does one get started? Well, okay. How does a person get started in the private pay home care? All right. So that question is a little bit more loaded than the rest of your questions. Getting started actually starts with making a choice. Okay. Is this the industry you want? Then you have to take a really hard look at what your finances are. Okay. If you can open a home care agency on a shoestring budget, but it does not mean that you're going to be able to successfully open a home care agency with no money. In the state of Ohio, you do not need any particular licensing or any other expense. You can very literally just hang your shingle out and start offering private pay services. But here's the downfall, because I've gotten a lot of calls from certain states, not just Ohio, but places like Ohio. I've gotten them from Michigan, from Arizona, a couple of other states that we work in. And I get these periodically from people that I am a caregiver. I want to understand, I need to understand how to run a private pay home care business. Okay, being an independent contractor that happens to provide private pay caregiving services for individual families is very different than running and operating a private pay home care business. Okay, there is a distinction, and please be mindful of this. When you are running a home care agency, it is a business structure, and having caregiver experience is definitely helpful. And being willing to go and care for your clients, it's a level of commitment to your clients that is admirable. On that note, when you are committed to running a home care business, even if you have little funds, you must have certain things done for you. You must have the paperwork, just the standard operational paperwork. You must have an understanding of how to run your business. You know, the startup costs, whatever capital you need to get started, you got to make it work. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give you a dollar amount, okay? Because home care, I've seen people open it up with as little as, $20 to $25,000 in order to have that operating capital to get started for the first few months. And then I've seen them bust their ass and work hard, and do the right investments, learn, find a mentor, find out what's going on. And after a few, 3 to 6 months, start getting traction, and then slowly building their business. They understand their limits, they understand their limitations, and I've seen them do it. I've also seen people invest $1 to $2 million, okay, and fail. Yes, $1 to $2 million of capital on a single owner private home care business, and I have seen them fail, because it's like any other business ownership. If you are afraid of doing the work, okay, don't do it. If you are afraid of, if you're not willing to commit the hours that you need to take care of your clients, don't do it. If you're not willing to work weekends, don't do this. Okay, there's a lot of things that, and on the other end of it, if you have the money, if you are very well capitalized, and you have a few $100,000 to, mid six figures to high seven figures, in order to do this, to low seven figures, in order to open your business, if you have that type of investment, then please do yourself a favor. Do not be afraid to invest in coaching, consulting, training. I'm not even pushing myself in this. If you got to find somebody who's the right fit for you and your agency, but find them. Find the person that will work well with you and your staff, and hire them. Have them help you hire the right initial team. Hiring the right manager is crucial. Hiring those coordinators is important. Hiring the right salesperson when the time comes is going to make or break your business. Knowing at what stage of your business you should be hiring these people could save you tens of thousands, if not $100,000 over the course of your agency. Even if you're starting off low, a bad hire can cost you a ton of money. And these are some of the services we provide. And there are many other agencies like mine out there that provide this, but we will help you put the staff together, plan your pre-opening, start getting traction on your business development process. Don't be afraid to do this. Understand that nobody's born knowing everything, and we all need help. Look, I'm a consultant, and before I went into private business, I hired coaches and consultants. You have to. Nobody knows everything. Nobody understands everything and all the intricacies of running a business. So that's essentially how you get started. I mean, if you're doing this on your own, figure out what you want. Think ahead. Think 2-3 years down the road. Where do you want to see your business in 3 years? Are you trying to get to that $500,000 a year in sales? Or are you trying to get into the 7 figures? Think about what your end goal is. Sit down with someone. Even, look, even if you don't want to hire someone to train your people or to train you, at least sit down with someone that can help you work through what that 2, 3, 4, 5 year mark looks like. Because if you want to succeed, you have to understand that the habits you develop now, day one of your business, are going to be the habits that you're going to carry through when your business is in year 2, 3, 4, and 5. That $500,000, $750,000, $1 million, $2 or $3 million, $10 million mark. And bad habits now can stagnate or stop your growth altogether when the time comes. Okay. And that's, in short, how you get started. Again, thank you for submitting your question, Ms. Chambers. We really appreciate your support and everything else. And for those of you watching, the replay will have timestamps, and all the pertinent information will be below. In the comments, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, to this video. Leave a comment below and tell us, what do you think? What do you think is the most important steps before you start your home care business? What do you think is what did you struggle with if you're already in business that you wish you would have known when you first started? All right. Give us a subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell and let us know what you think. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.